I remember very clearly the first time when I had an opportunity to watch TED Talk. It was at the early stages of internet, and I believe that after watching that, internet became important to me, and I said, if somebody invented this in order to deliver such a beautiful thing as TED Talks are, I think the internet is fully justified. I was right about that. So at that point I was also intrigued about the words, the three words that define TED, and that's technology, entertainment, and design. And if you've seen my presentation, there's little m that I took liberty to add TEDM and question mark. M stands for music. I believe that music is as important as anything else we do in life, if not even more. And I believe that everybody who's involved with music should continue doing that throughout their life. So my life for the past 50 years was centered around teaching, learning, performing, and my experiences are reflected in my talk today. So this is not a theory, this is not a hypothesis. This is something that I experience on a day-to-day basis. So I view music as something that we share. Music is beauty that we share, and by enriching ourselves through performance, we enrich others. And I can tell you that as a performer, I feel enriched when I perform, and also as a member of the audience, I feel enriched when I listen to someone. So my fear is that this interactive creativity is something that's diminishing over the past 20 years or so. So my plan for today is to explore music or talk about music through the lens of those three terms, those three areas, those three words: technology, entertainment, and design. Obviously, technology is probably one of the most important factors that changed music in the past 50 years. And without a doubt, we can say that the number of people who have access to music today, and not just any kind of music, any kind of music you can imagine, is larger than there was ever in the past. So the influence of technology on dissemination of music is incredible. And probably one of the reasons why we are trying to figure out where to go, what to do, is because technology is changing faster than we can really adapt our knowledge and our ability to sort of work with it. So one way that I view technology is in the way that I look at you guys. And many of you here, as soon as you leave this room, you'll pop the headphones and you'll be going on your own and listen to music. So what that does, it gives you beautiful sound, right? But that sound is here, within your skull. It doesn't even go beyond 2 feet around you. It's just in your head. It's like a cocoon that isolates you from the rest of the world. It's because technology allows us to do this. On the other side, you have, because of technology, we're able to bring together 5,000 to 6,000 people in the arena and have them be part of the concert. Well, last time I attended one of those events, I ended up watching the entire event on the screen that was the size of a house, and the performers, the real performers, were about the size of a doll in the distance. And I was asking myself, what would be a difference if I stayed at home and watched it on the computer versus being here with a few thousand of my closest friends? And I really believe that we're missing a point. Why do you pay so much money to sit in the first row? Not because the sound is better, but because you want to feel close to the action. That is what's in our DNA. That's what it's in our genes. We grew out of this tradition where music was part of the ritual. And we were all part of the tribe. We all need to feel the beat. We all need to feel that music, right? You see that? I mean, we are all together, right? I never asked you for anything. You knew what to do, right? That's what music does. So what we're losing with some aspects of technology is this immediacy, this need to be there. We're not fulfilling our need to be part of the actual act of music. We're being passive. We're just sitting down, enjoying it from the distance, or even just kind of closing ourselves from the rest of the world and therefore, experiencing music just as one unit as opposed to part of the larger group. So my point is that we have to be engaged, not entertained. So since I use that word, let's move on to that area of entertainment. So yes, music should and can be viewed as an entertainment, but not solely as an entertainment. There's so much more to music. The range of expressions that we can express through music is way more than just entertainment. When I think of the word, the entertainment, my first thought is music that's very light, easy to listen, kind of inconsequential somewhere in the background. Maybe you're going up the elevator. That's entertainment. I don't think of music as an entertainment. I want you to be engaged when I play. Whether it's a fun tune that makes you want to swing and hop, or if it makes you cry, I want you to be engaged, not entertained. Entertainment is not bad, but still I want you to do more than that. And unfortunately, music over the past 50 years or more is being narrowing down from this huge plethora of feelings and emotions to a very few chords and very few musical terms that we're turning over and over for about 50 years or longer. So we can't blame really just musicians for that. What's the other word that comes to your mind when we say entertainment? Industry, right? So at one point, we start looking at music as more of a good that can be sold than we're really looking at the music as something that has artistic value. So at one point, when we start thinking about music as something that should be sold, of course, our goal is to sell as many units as we can, because that's the only way we can make profit, right? So what can you sell easy, all right? You can sell something that doesn't take too much time to get absorbed. So I'm going to use a very simple example, maybe not even appropriate. Imagine you're hungry. Somebody brings you a slice of pizza, or you have this wonderful, fresh assortment straight from the market, healthy, nutritious vegetables, and everything you need. About half an hour later, you can sit and eat, right? You have to prepare that meal. What's going to happen? We know. We're going to go for that slice of pizza because you're hungry. You're going to satisfy your need like this. So that's what music industry does with us with music. They give us quick satisfaction. We don't have to think about that. We don't have to analyze it. It just goes in, makes us happy and satisfied. So you know what that's going to do to your diet if you continue eating pizza day after day. So we know that it's not good for us, but we continue doing it just because of the magic of marketing and everything that industry brings with it. So my point here is that yes, industry is good. Yes, music is, that we're listening is fun. But let's not view music just as entertainment, just as a good that can be traded. It almost seems like we're evaluating music through non-musical means. We're saying, how much can we sell of this, instead of saying, how good is this? So this duality, this kind of view of music as two different things, makes me think of design. And seriously, when I was thinking about those three words, design, I was wondering, why not art? It would make a very nice acronym. Tea Talk, right? We're relaxed, we drink tea, we talk, as opposed to TED Talk, So unfortunately, there's design, right? Well, not unfortunately, but here it is. So what is design? What's the difference between art and design? Design serves two masters. It has to be aesthetically pleasing. It also has to be functional, right? So it seems like everything that we're talking about, multitasking, is also expressed in that view of art, that we have to satisfy two things. So I see a lot of students here, so I'm going to ask you one question. How many of you were involved in music in your high school? All right, very good. This is a good school. How many of you were involved with, in the back of your mind, idea, this is going to help my college application? And don't be shy, right? They can't see you, I can see you, right? How many of you were saying, oh, this is going to be good on my college applications that I'm playing music in the orchestra? Nobody? All right, I know, I teach students who say, oh, I really should be taking music because it's going to help my college application, show that I'm interested in different things, etc. I am very sick of that idea of trying to prove music as something that you need in order to become a good math student. Well, you know, through the research, we know that if you study music, if you're involved in music, it will contribute to your emotional and intellectual development as a child, right? And you know, we knew that forever, but now science proves that too. How many times you read a novel with the idea that it's going to improve your research? Maybe it will, but that's not the primary reason why you're reading a novel. When you study physics, do you study physics because you want to be a good athlete? No. You study physics because of studying physics and the good that you can get from that. So let's make music what it is. Study music for the sake of music, for the beauty of aesthetics, and for understanding how it works with other people, creating music with other people and all of that. Let's not study music for sake of something else. So few trends that I noticed and that I hope I was able to share with you is that over the time we are disengaged and less involved with music. We see music as very simple things, something that's fun and entertaining, and we don't try to go deeper into music. And music is reduced to a very simple set of rules as opposed to all the beauty that it can be. And we also see, because of the way that industry works, that diversity is not as present as we would like to have it. I grew up in a country where within 80 miles I could go and visit hear 7, 8 different languages, and also hear music from 7, 8 different sort of cultures. When I arrived to the United States, there was absolutely no way for me to find any other music on the radio except pop songs. I couldn't hear French. I couldn't hear anything other than just kind of English language, and I really missed that. So I think, what are we going to do now about it? What are the steps that we can take in order to make music relevant in our lives? First of all, coming from my background as a performer and as a teacher, I think as many people as we can get involved in music is the first step. So it's very easy to be involved in music at any age. Parents and future parents, you can start bringing your kids to music classes as early as 3 months. And then you know what you went through in your elementary school, start playing music, seek lessons, and then when you get to your age, college age, that's probably the hardest time because there's so many things going on in your life, and it's hard to find a little bit of time for music to be involved. Well, try it. I know it's hard, but try it. If you're a professional musician on the other side, you should actually go out and seek the audiences. Don't wait for audiences to come to you. Go out, go into schools, go into libraries. That's how we're going to build an audience for tomorrow. And we need, as educators, we need to build skills for people to evaluate music on their own, rather than expecting that industry is going to give you the right answer to what's the kind of music you should listen, or what is the quality of music. And finally, we should try to open our eyes and open our ears and include as many different cultures and as many different kinds of music, the many different genres into our repertoire. So my point was not to make this into a battle cry for my cause, but can't help it. I have to do this. So I would like to leave you with 2 challenges. One is, if you are not involved in music, do get involved in music. It is going to make you a happier person, no doubt. If you are involved in music, bring others with you. Share that and talk about benefits and beauty that you actually get through music. And finally, I know that within the next 4 hours, all of you are going to go outside, either plug in your headphones, turn the radio in your car, turn the radio, whatever. My challenge is, before you set on a dial or before you set on your playlist, ask yourself, am I brave enough to try something different, to listen to a different kind of music? Thank you.